new watch, new babe.
What's good, TMG fam? It's your boy L, and I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. Now listen, I know this ain't something you might think about every day, right? Unless you're in like somewhere where you're like in close proximity to a volcano and has experienced volcanic activity. Maybe you've had to evacuate because of a volcano. Any of those type of experience, then I'm not really talking about you. You know what I'm saying? But others who, like myself, have not had that experience. Not looking to have that experience either. Yeah, you know, y'all can keep that. But who have not had that experience, man. So to see a video pose the question, what happens if you fell into molten lava? Like, I would think like you're pretty much done. Like, your chances of survivability, I don't think would be great. I would think they'd be like very, very small, like very itty bitty chances of you surviving. Salute to y'all, by the way. Get your cups out, man. Where y'all red cups at? Yeah, man. Only thing I think back to is like the movie Dante's Peak, that every teacher tried to scare their students with and show them in class when they were in high school or middle school or whatever. They tried to use that movie as like, I don't know, a scare tactic or something like that. And it definitely worked for me. Like, I ain't want to be around no volcanoes, bro. I got to tell you. I don't care if it's active or inactive. Keep me away. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like with my luck, it'll happen when I'm asleep. I'm a hard sleeper, so I won't hear it. Then all I know is the temperature's getting hot. You wake up, it's too late. It's already in your bedroom. You burnt, you're dead. It's over. It's over. Like that. Just like that. All right? So we're going to check this video out, man. Shout outs to Riddle for the video. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, man. Leave a like at the end of the video. You want to see more videos just like these, man. And definitely cannot forget, go hit up the vlog channel. Link should be in the description. Let's go.
Devouring fire waves roll over the basalt shores. A boiling mass of a molten mixture of silicon dioxide and metals is ejected under high pressure from the crater. It feels like the hatred of ancient underground demons is materializing. Before you, the mouth of the Marum volcano on the island of Ambrim in the Pacific Ocean is raging. The temperature of hot lava gushing from a fault in the Earth's crust is about 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 6 times hotter than the hottest iron. Clearly, nothing living within a radius of hundreds of feet around it can exist. Probably, this is how...
You can't even exist in a radius of it. So never mind, like, if you fell into it. Like, come on, man. You're not surviving.
Medieval scholars imagined hell, and if now, between the jets and waves of underground magma flashed a vat of sinners, I wouldn't be surprised. The person you see is Canadian researcher and TV host of the program Angry Planet, George Karounis. His helicopter started to fail while still up there. One of his cameras is melted, and his thermal suit is burned through by spray and pitted by acid rain. To get close to the boiling lava, he descended into the crater to a depth of 1,300 feet, almost on a sheer cliff. That's the height of the Empire State Building. Without a thermal suit, a person would be able to stay at this point for no more than 4 or 5 seconds. Of course, he isn't going to jump down. Behind him are dozens of volcanoes, whirlwinds, tornadoes, and ahead, I hope, even more. But what happens to the madman who decides to do some...
See, that's the type of dude, he does all this thrill seeking, goes after, like, you know what I'm saying, tornadoes, hurricanes, volcanoes, just all of this crazy type stuff. And he'd be the type of person that would die by like a mosquito bite or like an ant bite, some crazy ant or something small, minute that you would think, oh, he'll survive that. This dude here, he's done been through it all. He's done faced death a million times it's stared death a million times in the face, and something small and minute takes him out, bro.
something like this and jumps into the boiling lava. It's quite obvious that the temperatures of the molten metals are such that an attempt to touch these incredibly dangerous liquids would lead to at least serious injuries or even to the imminent death of the experimenter. This fact doesn't cause me any doubts. I don't think it does for you either, but look at this. The worker deliberately hits the jet of molten metal several times with an unprotected hand and doesn't look injured. I've heard that metalworkers get so used to extreme temperatures that, like superheroes, they're able to ignore such trifles. But if this assumption causes you doubt,
y'all believe that it's a bridge in Brooklyn I want to sell you, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Cause ain't no way. Come on, bro.
Times with an
I don't know what that is. I don't know how he's able to do that, but it's something we're not seeing, bro. Ain't no way I'm believing that. I'm not, bro.
The worker deliberately hits the jet of molten metal several times with an unprotected hand and doesn't look injured. I've heard that metalworkers get so used to extreme temperatures that, like superheroes, they're able to ignore such trifles. But if this assumption causes you doubt, then there's a more realistic explanation for what we are now seeing, and this is the Leidenfrost effect. Thanks to this, an insulating layer of steam is created between the surface of the skin and the molten metal. Yes, this is a very unreliable and quickly destructible layer of protection, but for a small fraction of a second, it protects the skin surface from direct contact with a thermally dangerous liquid. The trick of dipping a wet hand into molten metal was popular among steelworkers 150 years ago. At the same time, paradoxically, the metal needs to not only be melted, but also heated as much as possible. After all, if the temperature of the melt is close to the point of solidification, when sharply cooled, it can harden directly on the human skin, which would inevitably lead to severe thermal injuries.
So it got to be just right. You're gambling with yourself when he do that and he's slapping that. He gambling with his life right there, or one of his extremities by doing that. Yeah. I'm not taking that chance.
That are life-threatening. I hope they lead to severe thermal injuries that are life-threatening. I hope that you won't show such tricks to your friends. But just in case, remember, the effect of the protective steam shell ends within a moment, and if you hold your hand in the molten metal, 3rd or even 4th degree burns are guaranteed. This is complete charring of the skin, deadening of the deep layers of muscles, tendons, and even thermal damage to the bones. A person in such a situation is on the verge of life and death, even if the severe injuries received don't seem to directly threaten your life. Trying to cope with the incredible, never-before experienced pain, the body sends adrenaline and endorphins into the blood, but it cannot cope itself. The pulse weakens with each beat. The volume of blood circulation decreases with each second. The outcome of severe traumatic shock without urgent medical help is inevitable. Short-term agony and death. Well, I hope that this information is enough to prevent an inexperienced and untrained magician from considering demonstrating the Leidenfrost effect as a simple trick. But still, I suggest you find out what would happen to a person who decided to jump into a pool of molten metal or the mouth of a volcano. Would their body ignite when it touched the fiery surface and burn up without a trace? Or would they have time to sink into the melt and give us a thumbs up like the T-800 term?
What y'all think? I'm thinking instant. Because probably your body is already, as it's getting there, it's going through all those temperatures before you actually hit the lava. Oh, yeah. You well done by the time you hit the lava, bro.
Terminator. Of course, there's hardly a person in their right mind who's decided to find answers to these questions experimentally. But let's not forget that people died in lava not only during the time of the ancient Roman city of Pompeii 2,000 years ago, but modern carefree tourists periodically misjudge the degree of danger and often don't return from vacation trips. For example, in the year 2014, when Mount Ontake erupted in Japan, more than 60 people became victims of the disaster. When falling into molten metal, the destructive thermal effect on the body would begin even before contact with the surface. First, a person would meet a layer.
That's what I was trying to tell y'all, bro. That's what I'm telling y'all.
Of superheated air, and the closer they got to the fiery border, the faster the temperature would rise. At about 30 feet away, the skin on the face would send signals to the nervous system about the strong impact of hot air. The eyes would involuntarily close to protect the retina. If we could stay at this level for a couple of minutes, we would feel something terrible. Blisters on the skin, and the hot air cooking and blocking small capillaries in the lungs. But fortunately, we're falling further. Even several feet from the surface of the metal, it would be impossible to inhale. The body would refuse to expand the respiratory diaphragm due to the threat of fatal injuries. The skin would burst, shrivel, and hang in rags. The nervous system would refuse to control the cardiovascular and respiratory systems. The time you would remain alive at this level wouldn't exceed a couple of minutes. Finally, within 3 feet of the flaming border, the temperatures would reach several hundred degrees. We would see clothes catch fire or melt, and all the organs of the human body instantly receive damage incompatible with life. But there would be no time. We're falling further. And in a split second, the body, no, it wouldn't sink into the molten metal. It would beat against its surface, only slightly crushing the flaming mirror. After all, the density of molten metal is almost the same as that of metal in a solid state, and we aren't Terminators and aren't capable of such a trick. What was once just a human being would only lie and fry on the surface of the molten metal. Because of instantaneous overheating, all the moisture in the body would turn into steam, and if the body freely releases it with a light pop, then the evaporated brain would...
Are y'all hot right now? Just all this talk is just making, and it's cold down here in my basement, bro. I'm normally cold down here. I got a little heater behind me, but just this type of talk is just making me hot, fam. Like, golly, man, it's getting hot in her.
Create pressure in the skull, which would squeeze the eyes from their sockets.
Dang.
After that, the scene can be considered finished. Under the influence of extreme temperature, the flesh easily ignites and disappears. Then the bones burn. But the teeth can withstand temperatures over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. They're the last thing that remains of a living creature. Of course, in practice, the fall would occur very quickly, and most likely we wouldn't have time to realize and feel anything. For an outsider, the body would flash instantly, and at this moment, the person would already be dead. But if this reassures you, I must say that there's a tougher option. For this, the melt must be not so hot. For example, if the lava that came to the surface managed to cool down a little and form a cooler crust on its surface, we wouldn't have time to suffocate or lose consciousness from the pain shock. The human body would simply stick to the top.
Ooh. Now that's what I would imagine hell would be like, bro. If you believe in heaven or hell, that's what I would imagine, like just the agony, the pain, you know what I'm saying? Like you feeling everything, a slow, painful death. Whoo. Hey, this is heating up.
from the pain shock. The human body would simply stick to the top like a fly on duct tape and be fried in this giant frying pan for endless minutes, envying those who were lucky enough to fall right into the boiling metal, who never had to experience the medieval infernal cauldron in their lifetime. But of course, when we hear the words molten metal, we don't only feel fear, although we know about its dangers. It's not for nothing that the main periods in the development of civilization were called the Copper, Bronze, and Iron Ages. From molten metal, humans first made a sword, then an iron plow, a gold coin, a bronze statue, and finally, a space rocket. So thank you to those first daredevils who weren't afraid of such incredibly high temperatures and moved the evolution of mankind significantly forward. Thanks for watching, and be careful around volcanoes.
Told y'all, man. That's YouTube University, bro. Stuff like this is so intriguing to me, man. Like, 'cause I don't ever plan on being around and a volcano. You know what I'm saying? My mind, if I ever was in close proximity, bro, I wouldn't even be able to function or focus because I'd be so worried. Like, did y'all feel that? Y'all hear something? Is that when is that thing scheduled to erupt? When is the last time it erupt? I'd have a million questions. I'd be walking around on pins and needles, and I wouldn't be too far away from the airport. Like, get out of here quickly type, or my car. At all, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, volcanoes, bro. Like, it's just, you gotta wait it out. There's nothing you can do about it. When it decides to do what it do, that's why I say, man, Mother Nature is a beast. It's a beast. When that volcano decides to let off, pop off, erupt, whatever, however you want to say it, and then you have some people that it don't matter what type of disaster it is, they decide that they just gonna hang around and they've survived through several of them. And you know what I'm saying? Those be the ones that get caught at one time. And it's sad. It's tragic. You know what I mean? But anyway, man, shout outs to YouTube and for these videos. Shout outs to Riddle too, man, for putting this. This was super, super dope and informative. Like, but I don't know anybody that's gonna be jumping into my lava. If you do, you just crazy as hell. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be around you. You reckless. All right. So y'all get at me in the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought of this video, man. And stick around and stay tuned to the next reaction. I'm out. Peace, y'all. Stay solid. Hey.